The rain hammered against the windows of Stellar Grounds, the only coffee shop on station Kepler 442B that stayed open past the third shift change. Sarah Chen wiped down the counter for the dozenth time that evening, her tired eyes scanning the nearly empty establishment. Most of the patrons had long since returned to their quarters or ships, leaving only the usual collection of insomniacs, gamblers, and those with nowhere else to go. The door chimed, and a figure stepped inside, shaking droplets from a worn leather coat that had seen better decades. Sarah looked up and immediately felt her breath catch. The newcomer was tall, easily 7 feet, with an otherworldly grace that made him seem to glide rather than walk. His skin held an unusual shimmer, like scales catching light, and his eyes were the deep amber of molten gold. "We're closing in 20 minutes," Sarah called out, but not unkindly. Something about the stranger's posture suggested exhaustion that ran bone deep. He approached the counter with measured steps, each movement deliberate yet somehow ancient. "I apologize for the late hour. I require only something warm to drink." His voice carried an accent Sarah couldn't place, formal, carefully enunciated, with undertones that seemed to resonate in frequencies just below human hearing. She'd worked the late shift on Kepler Station long enough to encounter dozens of alien species, but this being was something entirely new. "What can I get you?" she asked, activating the brewing system. "I am unfamiliar with your offerings. What would you recommend?" Sarah studied his face, sharp features, high cheekbones, and those remarkable eyes that seemed to hold depths of knowledge and weariness. "You look like someone who's traveled far. Try the Centauri blend. It's strong, but there's sweetness underneath." A ghost of a smile crossed his features. "That sounds appropriate." As the coffee brewed, Sarah found herself stealing glances at her unusual customer. His coat, while weathered, was made from materials she didn't recognize. Occasionally, when he moved, she caught glimpses of what looked like intricate armor beneath the leather. "Rough night?" she asked, setting the steaming cup before him. He wrapped long fingers around the ceramic mug, and Sarah noticed his nails were slightly elongated, almost claw-like. "A rough millennium," he replied quietly. Before Sarah could process that statement, he reached into his coat. Her hand instinctively moved toward the emergency beacon under the counter, station protocol for potentially dangerous situations. But instead of a weapon, he produced what appeared to be an empty wallet. His expression suddenly mortified. "I seem to have miscalculated my local currency reserves," he said, staring at the wallet with the look of someone unaccustomed to such mundane problems. Sarah watched his shoulders sag slightly, and something in her chest tightened. She'd seen pride crumble before, usually in spacers down on their luck, or colonists whose dreams had crashed against the harsh reality of frontier life. But this felt different. This felt like watching a mountain learn what it meant to kneel. "Don't worry about it," she said, waving her hand dismissively. "It's on the house." The stranger's head snapped up, those golden eyes widening. "You would do this? For someone you do not know?" "It's just coffee," Sarah shrugged, though something told her it wasn't just coffee at all. "We've all been there." He stared at her for a long moment, and Sarah felt as though she was being measured against some invisible standard. Finally, he lifted the cup to his lips and took a sip. His eyes closed, and for just an instant, his rigid posture relaxed. "It has been some time since someone has shown me kindness without expectation of reward," he said softly. "What's your name?" Sarah asked, leaning against the counter. "I am called many things across many worlds," he replied, "but you may call me Aurelius. I'm Sarah Chen." "Sarah Chen," he repeated as though committing it to memory. "Tell me, what do you know of dragons?" The question caught her off guard. "Dragons? Like The mythological creatures from old Earth? Fire-breathing, treasure-hoarding, that sort of thing? Aurelius smiled, and this time it reached his eyes. Indeed, though the reality is somewhat more complex. We are an ancient species, spread across the galaxy long before humans discovered fire. We value strength, wisdom, and above all, the capacity for both justice and mercy. Sarah blinked. We? Instead of answering directly, Aurelius set down his cup and extended his hand. The air around his fingers began to shimmer, and suddenly a small flame danced across his palm, not red or orange, but a brilliant gold that cast warm shadows across his face. "I am the last emperor of the Draconum Imperium," he said quietly, extinguishing the flame. "For 3,000 years I have ruled over 17 systems, commanded fleets that could darken stars, and held the loyalty of billions. But I am old, Sarah Chen, and I am tired. An empire cannot be governed by one who has forgotten why it is worth preserving." Sarah's mind reeled. She was serving coffee to an alien emperor, an alien dragon emperor. The absurdity of it threatened to overwhelm her. "I have been searching," Aurelius continued, "for one who might inherit not just my throne, but my responsibility to protect those who cannot protect themselves. I have tested warriors, scholars, nobles from 100 worlds. All have failed. Failed how? They sought power, or glory, or wealth. None understood that true strength lies in service." He gestured to the simple coffee cup. "You offered aid to a stranger not because you hoped for reward, but because it was right. Such instinct cannot be taught." Sarah felt the ground shifting beneath her feet. Are you offering me a job?" Aurelius laughed, a sound like distant thunder. "I am offering you the galaxy, Sarah Chen of Station Kepler 442b. The question is, are you brave enough to accept it?" Outside, the rain continued to fall, but inside the little coffee shop, Sarah stared into golden eyes and realized her ordinary life had just become anything but.